history art guy has requested Ferdinand Marcos. You're like, who? Well, you wouldn't be clicking on Ferdinand Marcos if you didn't know who he was. He was the president of the Philippines for 20 years, from 1966 to 1986, and he was part of the Nationalist Party. Fun fact, is the first and last Filipino president to win a second full term. So he served for 20 years. I did more of a younger version of him because everybody looks better when they're younger. Anyways, unless you're Ronald Reagan. But no, actually he looks better. Everybody looks better when they're younger. So anyways, we're going to draw Ferdinand. Okay, it's quite the name, right? We're going to start with his head. His head is very elongated, okay? So we're going to start with his face. So we're just going to go around almost like an egg. Zoop. Got our egg going on. And he's kind of looking in the middle, but kind of off to the side. Doop. And his eyes, and then we're going to get his nose is going to be right there. Or is that his mouth? That might be his mouth. Yikes. Might have made that his mouth. And then we'll put his nose up here. Yeah, that's better. That's his mouth right there. Okay, so let's start with his eyes. So we're going to look this. He has a heavy lid. Usually Asians have a heavy lid, but they are gorgeous. Heavy lid just means you can't really, it's just their lid comes down a little more. Not a big deal, just how gorgeous they are. But his little lid kind of comes over like this. So his is really heavy. And he's kind of looking off to the side. Since he is Filipino, he's got that dark eyes. So I just colored him in, not to have to worry about. So we just Sharpied that puppy in. All right, let's do this side. Heavy lid. This is the younger version. I found some very interesting facts about him. Okay, we're gonna do some circle and color in his eye. This is his upper lid here. All right, so just pretend that's Sharpied. Pretend he's Sharpied. And his eyebrows, well, let's just get the shape of his head. So we're going to do his hairline. Bring it over here. And this is going to be his part right here. And we get his ears in there. So we have his ear. And then his hairline. Let's get his hair. His hair is going to come up like this and then over. And his hairline, we're going to bring it in. Kind of has it come out a little bit, and then it's going to come down. It's a fun little hairline there. I'm going to erase that in there. And he has that stylish, I don't know, I love the clean cut look personally. Just the clean cut, stylish look. It's going to come over. Let's get his another ear. So we have his ears coming here, here. So let's do this ear on this side. And then his hair is going to come in and out and then down. So now we can erase this part right here. What else do I know? So he was born in 1917 in the Philippines. And he died in Hawaii in 1989 of a kidney failure. I got some fun facts on his wife. Hello. So his wife was a beauty queen, and she was Catholic. And for her to marry Ferdinand, he had to become Catholic. So he converted to become Catholic. We're going to put some hairs in here. You can put as many as you want to be able to marry her. She was all about fashion. He must have really liked her. All right, so we're gonna put some hairs over here. Her name was Imelda Marcos. I think I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. And half of his hair is going to be Sharpied in. So you can Sharpie in as much as you want because his hair is kind of like a dark brown black. So I just ended up Sharpieing, which we will Sharpie in. Blah, I'll do that later. Okay, this lady, the wife, loved, I think they had 3 or, and then they adopted one. Anyways, let's get back to, she loved fashion. You wanna know how many shoes she had when she had to exile? I don't think they were liked very much. And she had 3,000 shoes with her. And she just said that she wanted her quote is to inspire the poor to dress better. So she thought they just needed to be inspired and then they won't be poor. Yeah, that's like a rich person's issue right there, right? I tell my daughter, I'm like, well, actually I try to think it in my head because if I said it out loud, I don't know. If she thinks something's a big issue, I think in my head, that's a first world problem or that's a third world problem. If it's not that big a deal, that's a third world problem. If it's a big deal, that's well, no. Okay, how would I say that? If it's a first world problem, that's like, oh, I don't like this jelly on my sandwich. Yeah, that's a first world problem. Like, really? That's not life-changing. Now, if I didn't have food for many days, that is a big problem. That means it's a bigger problem. So I'd call that a third world problem. That's a big deal. But she kind of, I don't think she didn't get the whole being poor thing. And when they found that she had 15 mink coats, 508 gowns, and 888 handbags. And they probably were like Gucci and Vuitton and all those expensive. I don't even know how much one of those costs, you know. I got my little backpack purse at Walmart for $15 and I'm happy as a clam, so, and that's all I got. So I cannot comprehend that. Eesh, that sounds crazy to me. All right, so you're gonna do some more of those lines in there of this handsome. He was very handsome when he was younger. Okay, so we're just gonna put, he had a line across and his eyebrows were funky, but they were awesome funky. They just kind of went up a little bit. They definitely got character, that's for sure. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think his wife, I mean, she was a beauty queen, but I don't think she fully understood. Yikes. She probably was a lovely lady. I just don't think she understood the issues of people not having money, you know? That's kind of crazy. I put a couple of lines in there to make it look like he had hair. And he does have like lines under here, but we're not going to draw those. We're going to just color pencil those in. All right, his nose actually had a cute nose. Doing a simple nose. Now we're going to erase these lines. Let's see, what else? Oh, Marcos had an authoritarian dictatorship. So he kind of, oh, this is kind of annoying me. Let me get rid of this. He kind of just wanted to be the boss man. And it was kind of like his way or the highway. Yikes. All right, lines here. All right, so now we're going to do a smile. A smile kind of goes up like this. And bring it down on either side. And we'll bring it in. And a bottom lip. can erase in there. Almost, it was a little much. To the point, he imposed martial law on the nation from 1972 to 1981. That's almost 10 years of martial law. And martial law is when they replace civil government with military rule. So that's like, that's hard ruling right there. Okay, so we're gonna also give him his little cute. So yeah, cutie patootie, but I don't know if I liked necessarily how he ruled, you know? So he kind of was like, it's my way or the highway, I'm the boss man. And I don't think that went over too well. Okay, this is his chin. And his shirt is gonna come off of here, bring it down. And now we got his collar coming in here. Looking good. And bring this down like this. Shoulder, I also put the Filipino flag behind it. So it has a triangle right here with a sun and little stars, and it's blue on top and red on the bottom. So I thought that was a nice little touch. Okay, we are going to Sharpie it, and then I'm going to show you how I colored him in. So let's go. I'm taking this dark one and putting some dark in the hair and around the outside. Okay, now I'm going to erase. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you what I did for the background. This is for the flag. I just went across his head, and then I came on down, and I'm gonna go across the bottom here. Whoosh, jump over his head and bring it down. And then the flag comes in. It's almost like a triangle. Boop. This is like a triangle right here. And you're only gonna see a part of the sun. So we have the sun here, and there's a star here, and a star here. And then this is going to be split. So blue on top, red on the bottom. And these are some bursts. So they have a bigger portion and then two smaller ones. Those are going to be in yellow. So there's a bigger portion, small, small. And you're just going to go like that all the way around. Bigger. Okay, lovely. Boop. All right, so for his skin, I used peach, tan, light brown, and dark brown. Those are the three colors you use. You kind of have to use all of them because his skin is a nice tan color. But I started the base with the peach. I'm gonna do half of his face. So color the whole thing peachy peachy. Don't forget his ears and his neck. Do not color in his eyeballs or his mouth. Okay, fine, I'll do the whole thing. Let's see what else. I already told you his authoritarian dictatorship. He received an honorary Doctor of Law, and he was very good skilled at debating and a public speaker, which that is what leaders pretty much need. Seems like that's what they all have. They're good at public speaking and debating things. Yep, I think I pretty much said everything that I personally know. Oops. Okay, we're gonna color this all in. Oh, I'm losing my, it's getting dull, which doesn't help. I went over this thing like with all peach, and then I went over with all the other colors, and I went back over at the end to make it all smooth. Went over it with peach one last time to smooth it out. That's why it doesn't necessarily look smooth. You got to go over it a few times, different directions, so you can get all that white out of there, because you don't want the white. You don't want to see the paper through it, all right? All right, that's just the base. You could do it again, do it many times. Then you're gonna go over with your tan, and we're gonna go in here especially harder, go around the eyes. And then he's got that whoop underneath on both sides. On the side of his nose. And we're gonna make this extra hard here. And as you come in, you can go get softer and softer. And the only reason I can see all these pencil marks is because my peach was dying, like it was the wood that's scratching into it. So unfortunately that made it not so pretty. So I'm gonna go under his nose, give it some coloring. All right. And go along his hairline. So I'm going to get lighter and lighter along the hairline to do that all the way around. So we're just going to do this side. Okay, so we have that coat. So now I'm going to come in with my pink to do just some rosy on the cheeks. Give it a little color. It just kind of brings the skin to life, you know? And I believe from what I read, they had like 2 or 3 kids together, and then they adopted 1 kid. So I think they had 3 or 4 total. And I'm gonna put a little color on his nose. And you do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And his lips, we'll put red in there, but we're gonna start with a little pink. He actually has really nice lips. They're more red, but I didn't want to put too much red on there to make it look like he was wearing lipstick. So we're just going to come along here, give him a little bit of red. And now let's come in with our light brown. Now we're just going to do another layer. So come in, and the same thing you did before. We're just making him look like he's more tan because he's from the Philippines. Okay, that's looking good. So you're just going to keep going layer upon layer until you get it the consistency you want. So you just want to keep going and going. And definitely under the chin, this is where it's going to get really dark. Under the chin. So it looks like it's sitting on top. So give it lots of color there. And in the eyebrows, we're just going to color this in. Actually, I'm just going to get brown. Regular brown, color his eyebrows in and color his hair in. Because he does have dark hair. And even with this brown, you can come in here and bring this a little darker, and underneath his chin, make it a little darker. And then you're gonna come in with our gray. You're like, what's the gray for? This is to give it the shadow. So you're gonna come in here, give it a shadow under the teeth here. And then give him a little shadow in the eyes. And I made his shirt. He's gonna be definitely tanner than this, but here, I'm going over with some tan again. But that's something you gotta do. It's just layers upon layers. You just keep coloring it till you get to the point where you're like, oh, that's where I like it. And don't forget to be doing this side. And just keep going with those layers. And don't forget down here, under the chin. And his shirt, I actually made a golden yellow, because it looks like all their shirts were either white or gold. They had a little touch of color to it. I just wanted something on there. And it was very interesting on a lot of them. They have like t-shirts underneath, and then they wear these like see-through collared shirts on top. It was very cool looking. I think it must have been the fashion back then, but it was cool. I'm sure his wife must have dressed him, right? Probably. All right, so keep working on that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.